Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is Saad Siddiqui, and I'm excited to have another episode of 10 Minutes with Titanium. Today, we're going to spend a little bit of time with John Cosgrove of Lightfold and Armand Petrosian of Coalesce and learn about all things data infrastructure. Right now, there's just so much noise in all things data infrastructure these days. And JC and Armand, maybe Armand, I'll start with you and would love to maybe understand, like it seems like we've gone through multiple generations of data infrastructure and data management. Would you help us understand the history of data infrastructure, where we are today, and what's sort of missing?
Historically, we were constrained by infrastructure in general, and then you saw a massive platform shift with the adoption of cloud data warehousing technologies or cloud platforms. And that really opened up the ability to have infinite scale effectively. And as a result of that, you're starting to see new technologies emerge as well as new demands. And of course, recently there's been a huge focus on generative AI, LLMs, AI use cases. And I would say that we're witnessing the market continue to evolve where you've got these incredibly scalable platforms or databases, and people have this end goal or this destination they want to get to, which is something that's an AI focused use case, but there's all these steps in between from getting that data in its raw format to the point that it's presentable or consumable by one of those AI use cases. And so, really, where Coalesce plays and the reason why we're so passionate about the mission that we're on is because we want to be able to accelerate and automate as much of the data preparation as possible, which historically and still to this day is the biggest bottleneck with unlocking any type of not just data use case, not just data science use case, but also AI use cases.
It's been a very interesting time. I think Armand would agree over the last 18 months in obviously changes in capital markets and the way that's affected some of the language around what we were calling the modern data stack. I'm still calling it the modern data stack. If anyone has a problem with that, they can look me up. But it's because we kind of got a bit carried away with the next big hype cycle. When you step back, like really, really step back and look at the history of what we're calling data transformation, right? Over the course of 50 years, it's always been about the process of attempting to take raw data or raw information and turn that into something of value.
It seems like we've gone from like these monolithic data structures to things where like customers are generally looking for maybe self-service or business models and looking for more things that are sort of faster from an insight perspective. And to me, sort of like tells me that there's a need for some kind of layer that sort of like enables the business users to get the data that they're looking for that they can sort of build generative AI applications on top of, but also giving the CIOs and central data teams more control around what gets shared.
I would say over the past couple of decades, you've seen really clear but conflicting priorities from the business and the IT team. So the business wants to do things fast, the consumers of data want to do things fast, and IT wants to do things right or correctly. And there's this big buzzword around the data mesh and building data products and helping unify the data producers and the consumers of data. But technology was a bottleneck to enable both of those audiences. And the reason why was because there were certain ETL products that were focused on a more technical audience, and then there was data prep products that were focused on the less technical audience, and they had conflicting or they didn't have integrated metadata repositories. And so with Coalesce, we wanted to build a platform that was extensible to support any type of use case that the most principal or technical or savvy data engineer, data architect could possibly want to perform, but make it easy enough to use and approachable enough and intuitive enough that your less technical resources on the business side or the citizen data engineers could also be exponentially more productive, as well as everybody in between those two varying skill sets.
How are you advising your clients to be more, call it quote unquote, Gen AI ready? What are the best practices there that you're sort of like advising your clients to do here?
Data is no longer just data. What you've got to do is bring all aspects of knowledge now into this banner. So anything around content, anything around rules, regs, anything around traditional data feeds, internal data feeds, external data feeds, we're going to have to start to bring this together. And that's another reason why I'm such a fan of Coalesce, is the Coalesce structure is designed to allow us to embrace any number of different protocols inside the nodes, right? So we don't have to sit there and go, this is just another ETL tool. No, not at all. It's a tool for orchestrating powerful computation. So as Snowflake leans into the same stuff and starts to provide you with ways to do vectorization and ways to use these AI tools, you've got something in Coalesce that can keep bundling that complexity and bringing it back to language that anyone in the team can understand.
Can you sort of like help us understand, maybe in a deeper way, what's the role of Coalesce in the new generative AI data stack? And not only how does Coalesce fit into this new data stack, but how do you sort of like elevate yourself and showcase what you guys are doing and what the ecosystem sort of looks like?
Any Gen AI use case is only as good as the knowledge that you feed it or the way that you train it. And so without high quality data that's been built efficiently and properly, it really doesn't matter what your use case is when it comes to AI, because you're going to get that classic garbage in, garbage out type situation. And so with Coalesce, you're able to accelerate the development, the management to feed or train whatever Gen AI use case you have so much faster than any other alternative on the market.
Is there anything that you're looking forward to over the next 12 months and anything exciting that's coming up on the Coalesce side?
I would say seeing these use cases come to life is always the best aspect of our job. Like seeing customer success and actually delighting our customers and helping them finally, once and for all, actually deliver data projects successfully on time or early brings me the most joy. I think we're seeing the entire analytics market continue to evolve. There's, new technologies like Iceberg, which I think is really interesting for rolling out like a multi-engine cloud architecture, for example, and Snowflake's definitely leaning into that. But and we'll support everything in that future vision. But I would say the biggest thing is really let's just make these projects successful. How can we help our customers and anybody who's interacting with our platform be successful at what is now arguably the most important use case that their businesses have ever encountered, which is all these AI use cases. So that's what wakes me up in the morning, gets me fired up, and that's what keeps me up at night, is making sure that we're continuing to move forward as quickly as possible to help unlock these types of implementations and have success for our customers.
Awesome. And John, what about you?
Oh, dude, one of the things I tell people when I'm walking around talking about Gen AI, man, is that we are currently getting more white papers released about every little thing about generative AI than we can peer review. People are building AI to peer review the white papers about generative AI, right? That's a real story. That's really happening. So when I talk about what I am just, I'm having the time of my life. I honestly am. It is the like a whole new wave of my career, and part of what is absolutely at the heart of it is exactly this idea. I think we're building a new type of pipe. Like that's that's kind of wild. We've been doing pretty much the same stuff for a very long time. And the chance to now, all the tech's kind of converged. I was saying to people that we've spent the last 5, 6 years getting our head around the lake architecture, right? Being able to store things in a unschematized format. I don't like the unstructured. I think we're going to have to learn new words, right? Because there is actually structure. The Gen AI takes even the merest whiff of structure and it uses that almost as powerfully as it uses content. But what we have done is we've created these repositories that are rich and full of every conceivable type of information. And we've got tooling that we've built. And again, Coalesce is the one for me that's got the whole lot in there that can now handle this polyglot approach to how you're going to move it from point A to point B, or even expose it, even if you're not moving it, how you're going to expose it so it's ready to go. That's pretty wild to be given an opportunity to go, huh? We actually need to think this is the year where we're going to really figure out what are the foundations for knowledge pipelines to feed these things. And yeah, that I'm a huge geek, but that's hugely exciting.
Awesome. Guys, I can't thank you enough for your time today. Really appreciate you sharing your insights. And we're really excited to see what's sort of ahead here and continue to build with both of you guys. Thank you so much.